Hello, greetings to all of our friends in Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur. I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the chairman of Children's Health Defense. And I want to thank all of you and welcome you in solidarity to participate in our worldwide campaign and demonstration against mandates on Sunday, January 23rd. And we welcome the participation of all of the warriors and members of the great resistance in Malaysia. We today are fighting a global coup d'etat against democracy around the world, against constitutional government, against human rights. We are seeing this health crisis used as a pretense by the forces of totalitarianism to impose centralized, savage, brutal control on populations, including the loss of almost all of our traditional civil rights. There are three things that everybody in Malaysia needs to understand. Number one, every power that government takes, it will never give up voluntarily. It will never give up without confrontation, without a challenge. And that's why it's important to put as many people on the street on January 23rd to remind the government officials who are now serving the interests of people like Bill Gates and the pharmaceutical industry and the internet feudal overlords, titans like Mark Zuckerberg and Jeffrey Bezos, who are obliterating our local economies and imposing totalitarian controls. We need to remind our politicians that they work for us. They don't work for Bill Gates. They don't work for Pfizer or Johnson & Johnson or AstraZeneca. They don't work for Big Pharma. They work for the people, and they need to come back and start serving democracy. Number two, every power that government takes from us, it will abuse to the ultimate extent possible. Ultimately, all of these powers to lock us down, to make us wear masks, force vaccination with experimental products that have no liability, all of those ultimately will be subject to the maximum abuse. Third, the most important thing, nobody in history has ever complied their way out of totalitarianism. We all have the illusion that if we just do what we're ordered to do, we can return for normal. The opposite is true. Every time you comply, you are sending a signal to the tyrants, to the advocates of centralized control, about what they can do to you next. So compliance does not win you freedom from totalitarian control. It only increases the burden. And that's why it's incumbent upon all of us to resist, resist, resist. This is the hill that you are on today. This is the hill that you need to die on. Because if you comply today, they will push you back to a weaker and weaker position. So I welcome you to this global resistance. We send our love to you, our solidarity to you, and I look forward to the day that I will see you all on the barricades fighting for our children, for our freedoms, for our democracy.